Hey y'all, this is my third attempt trying to make this video. My brain is so all over the place, I keep rambling on and going off on wild tangents. So hopefully, this will be the final one, three times a charm. And try to bear with me if I start rambling. I'm kind of like in a brain fog right now. My sinuses are messing with me. My allergies is starting to kick in. So, um, that kind of puts me in somewhat of a fog. So please try to bear with me. And I apologize ahead of time if I start rambling. Today, I want to talk about something that I dealt with um, this week. And I want to talk about what helped me get out of it. Um, Now, I preface this by saying this is what helped me, and I'm going to talk about it because it may actually help others. However, it doesn't necessarily mean it will help you. Everybody's different. Everybody copes different. But I'm hoping that sharing what I went through will help normalize what I went through and at least let you realize that it's normal and maybe give some ideas of how to combat it and pull yourself out of it. This week was a tough week for me. Um, Firstly, because I had 5 hours of mandatory overtime. And y'all, there may be some out there that can handle 15 hours of overtime, like my 79-year-old mother. But I'm not one of them. I am ADHD, but somehow I lost the H part of that um, ADD thing. Um, Because, yeah, I'm not very hyperactive. Uh, but this week, because of the overtime, that in and of itself is exhausting. Monday, I had to get up and be to work 2 hours early so I could take care of 2 hours of the mandatory five. Um, because Fridays, I don't do anything Friday mornings. I don't do any overtime on Friday mornings because morning's the only time I can do the overtime because our office closes at 6:30 and I clock out at 6:30. So, I can't do anything afterwards. Not that I would anyway cuz I'm not going to stay at work till 7:30 or so doing overtime. But so I had to get up early to do 2 hours of the overtime so that way I could have Friday morning open so I can go to therapy because that's a priority. I don't let anything come in the way of that. And my therapist has such a full schedule that it's hard to reschedule for a different day in the morning time. So it's just easier to stay on Fridays and just work around any overtime I have. So, um, so that was exhausting. Monday, it was all I can do to get through Monday. It was in addition to having to wake up early, get to work early, and deal with all of that bohunkus. Um, I was going through mental issues, just being exhausted and mentally as well as physically. Tuesday was even worse. I had planned on making crockpot chicken tacos on um, Wednesday, I think it was. And so I was going to prepare for it Tuesday night. Didn't prepare for it. The only thing I did was take the chicken out to defrost and put, out of the freezer and in the fridge. Wednesday, I woke up. This is the third day of overtime I've had to do. And I was exhausted. I had to fight myself to get out of bed. I mean, literally fight with myself. Because I so wanted to call out that day. And what kept me from it is I have very little PTO accrued, paid time off. And I'm trying to build that up. But I have very little accrued because I've been taking so much time off. And I'm like this close to getting a written coaching because of all the time I've missed and all the unscheduled times off. I have a very good team leader who's gone to bat for me on more than one occasion, but I don't want to take advantage of that. I'm trying to be there at work. And almost literally, I had to take myself by the back of the shirt and pull myself up. I mean, almost literally, because it was so hard to get through, to just get up. So I got up, got dressed. The thought of preparing the chicken for the chicken tacos, not happening. And it was kind of like I had forgotten about it until I went in the fridge to get my lunch. And then it dawned on me, oh crud. So it was like, no, I didn't really have time either. Even if I'd had the energy, which I didn't, and even if I had the time, I didn't have the energy. So I went to work, and y'all, I was literally praying hour by hour by hour. God, get me through this. Get me through this, Lord. I need your energy. I don't want to call out. Please just make this day go quick. And quite honestly, on Wednesdays I go to church and I teach the kids Bible study class. And had it not been for the fact that I'm the only teacher, and I bring a lady to church on my way from work, I pick her up and then we go to church together. And then going home, I bring two ladies back, the one I pick up and then another lady that I bring back. If it wasn't for all of that, I think I would have seriously contemplated not going into church that night. And that's why God gave me these responsibilities, knowing that it'll get me to church on the hard days. I'm convinced of that. And I was just that tired. And I felt drained. I felt depressed. I felt like I had a cloud over me. And so I texted my therapist to let him know what was going on. I said, we got to do something about this depression. I don't want to deal with this. Because I've been dealing with a little bit of that for the last couple of weeks, where I'd have these long stretches where I'm just so down. And then I'd have a good day where I feel like a high. almost like manic depression, which I don't have, but it's almost like that. And so I had texted my therapist about that, saying we got to do something about this because I don't want to deal with this. I can't function like this. Well, I came home from church that night. Fortunately, I didn't have to take home the second lady. She was going home with another lady from church. So I just had to take home the one. I was able to come home early because of it, eat, and rest a little bit. And all of a sudden, I'm getting energy. I'm like, I think I'm going to make a pot of chili tomorrow. I mean, never mind that I had the chicken already, but my youngest had asked, he's doing a workout regimen now, and he asked if I could wait till Friday to do the chicken tacos because that's a lot of protein and that's a heavy workout day for him. So he needs that extra protein. And it's like, okay, I'll wait till Friday. And I got the idea, okay, well, Thursday I'll make chili in the crock pot. So Thursday night, I took out the ground meat to defrost and got things prepped. And I actually woke up and Thursday night, while I was getting ready to go to bed, I went over my mind how I was going to proceed with things, what I needed to do, and how I was going to go about doing them. You know, I do this first and this and this, and I went over it in my mind a couple of times. Thursday morning, sure enough, I get up out of bed, even before my second alarm, because y'all, I gotta set 2 alarms to get my butt out of bed. And I got out of bed before my second alarm, got dressed, started the chili in the crock pot, did dishes, got the laundry prepared for when I get off of work, and so I could do laundry at the laundromat, all of this stuff before I even went to work, and I got to work on time. And then after work, I went and did laundry, like 3.5 loads, came home, ate dinner, put all the food away. Then I actually prepared everything in the crock pot for the chicken tacos for Friday morning. To where all I had to do was take the carafe, put it in the warmer, turn it on, and it was, the crock pot does the rest. Yes, I use my crock pot a lot. I think it's fair to say that there's not a week that goes by that I don't use my crock pot at least once during that week. I would be so totally lost without it. And so I had all of this energy and got so much done. And so my therapy session Friday morning, my therapist brought up when I texted him about the depression. And so I talked to him about it. And in addition to him suggesting it could be partially due to vitamin deficiency, because he had talked to a female colleague and she talked about some vitamins that women need more of and suggested that to him. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I take a multivitamin, but vitamin D and vitamin C I definitely need. And vitamin D helps not only with your immune system, believe it or not, but it also helps with other things, including depression, and so it's like it's worth a shot. And uh, he brought up something that didn't really occur to me. How healing is exhausting. Um, been going through a lot the past couple of weeks, dealing with this new memory that just came up, and trying to process that and get it, walk it through and everything. And he said how that is exhausting. And so now my body is relaxing because for a couple of weeks I worked through it, processed it, did a narrative on it, which was totally exhausting. But I went to work right after. I was so proud of myself for that. And just getting through that, and with all the work that's involved, because healing is work. You don't just pray to God, let me heal, and there's no work involved, because it's hard work. It's God that gives you the energy, because God gave me the energy. Oh my goodness. God has given me such energy to get through this, such stamina to endure the healing. Because though the healing is nowhere near anything I had to deal with, the trauma itself, it's still exhausting in its own right. And I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And he says, and now that you're on the other side of the memory and you've processed it, now your brain is like, your body is like, okay, now you can relax. But it gets in an over relaxed state and just almost depressive, because I'm still dealing with this and my body is exhausted. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Because it makes sense because the last couple of weeks I've been really extra tired. And it makes sense as to why now. I think what helped me Thursday and Friday was mapping out a plan of how I was going to proceed to get things done and how I was going to implement them. First, figuring out, doing kind of like a brain dump of everything I needed to get done on Thursday, for example, to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. Well, first of all, figuring out what I wanted to accomplish, and then figuring out how I was going to proceed. And in planning it out, that helped tremendously, because I had a good idea of what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. And then I gave myself a little grace because there was a couple of things I couldn't get done before I had to go to work, like eat breakfast. So I had to eat breakfast at work. We have like a kitchen type thing that has a cooler where they have microwavable sandwiches and stuff in them that you can pay for at a kiosk. So I had to eat breakfast at work because I couldn't go without breakfast. It's getting to the point where my body is not letting me, because I'll get lightheaded and brain fog and everything else. And so because I had such success on Thursday, I tried that on Friday. Thursday night, I went over my plans of what I wanted to do. Thursday night, even after I ate dinner, put the food away, uh, I cleaned out the crock pot and prepared the chicken for the crock pot for the next day. Where all I had to do was take the Kraft, put it in the warmer, and bam, it was done. And I woke up Friday morning, did that, did a few other things, and even made it to therapy on time. And I really believe that having a plan of action helped. And here's the caveat: I gave myself grace for the things I couldn't get done. And I didn't focus on the things that I couldn't get done. Instead, I focused on what I did too. I went through my mind several times throughout Thursday and Friday, reliving what I did. Oh, I did this and this and this before work. I did this and this after work. That, going over in my mind, kind of replaying it. And that helped me so much. And then today, I had a plan of what I was going to do. I had an appointment with my chiropractor this morning, but I felt I overslept, which is highly unusual for me because my alarm went off at 8 o'clock, and I remember it going off. I remember turning it off, and I remember laying there for a minute. And next thing I know, my friend's calling me at 8:45, seeing how I'm doing and stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I had to reschedule because I could have pushed through and hurried up and raced like a bandit and probably, to get dressed and everything, and probably would have gotten there on time or maybe 5 minutes late. But it's like, no. I rescheduled for this Wednesday because this week we only have 3 hours of mandatory overtime, so I can get away with not doing overtime on Wednesday. And I rescheduled for Wednesday because I'm like, obviously I needed the rest because of the week that I just had, both physical and emotional issues. And I let myself rest, and I let myself stay in bed a little longer before I got up and got dressed and stuff, because I had a WebEx meeting with some ladies for a Bible study at 10, and then I had to bring my youngest to work for 11, working a double. But I got that done. And I got 2 other things done before I came back home after dropping him off. And after this, I'm going to get my laundry put away. I had wanted to get my laundry put away on Thursday, but by the time I came back from the laundromat and ate dinner and got everything else prepared for dinner the next day, I was just too tired. And so I gave myself grace. It's like, okay, when can I get this done? I'll do it Saturday. Because, Thursday night I also had to go over the lesson plan for kids for junior church tomorrow, because that's my position at church. And So by the time I did all of that, there was no way I was going to deal with putting 3 loads of clothes away. And so I gave myself grace on that. I said, yeah, but look at all you did. You did this, 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 and this. And I actually celebrated it to myself. And I said, okay, I'll do that Saturday when I know I have time and I know I can do it and not have to rush and be all stressed out about it. And so that's what I'm also suggesting is, what works great for me is having a plan of action. It worked the last 2 days and now today, so 3 days, where even just going over loosely in your mind, okay, I need to get all of this done. What do I need to do to accomplish at least most of it? And then when you get even most of it done, don't worry about what you didn't get done. Focus on what you did get done and replay it in your mind. That's what I do. Um, it's like I'm hyping myself up to myself each time I replay it in my mind what I did. And I have a coworker who, oh my goodness, I love her to pieces. She's been through a lot of trauma. She was in foster care for several years. Um, if I understand right, she aged out of the foster care system. And she went through a lot of trauma. And even through all of that, now she's looking to become a foster parent. So I'm really proud of her. I wish I could say her name, but I'm really proud of her. So if you're watching, sweetie, you know who you are. I love you and I'm proud of you. But so I'll even, when I go through my victories like this week, Thursday and Friday, well, Thursday because she doesn't work Fridays, I messaged her and said, guess what I did? And she knows what it's like to live with trauma and to heal from it. So, I mean, she gets it. So she is able to we bounce back and forth with each other on ideas, even so much as worship songs that really speak something to you, speak life. Um, and so she knows that the little victories mean tons. Um, I'll go so far as to say that there's really no such thing as little victories, because any victory is huge, especially when you come out of major trauma. When you can celebrate even one little victory, like you got up out of bed, you dressed relatively decently, where you're not traumatizing anybody, and you washed your face and got ready for the day. That's a victory. Because, y'all, I will be honest, there are some days that it is literally every ounce of fight I've got in me to be able to just get out of bed, throw on a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt, pull my hair back in a ponytail, and get on with the day. It's some days it's every ounce of energy I have just to do that. Because when you're healing from trauma, especially multiple traumas, um, it takes a toll on your body. And that's why you've got to do a lot of self care. I'm learning. I am learning to take care of myself. I'm learning to do small things um, for myself. Um, just little things, even like buying new makeup. Because I do wear makeup and I like dressing up most days. I wear makeup for me though. I don't wear it for others. It wearing makeup kind of perks me up. That's a self care for me. I'm by no means suggesting that all women should wear makeup, because there are some women that have never worn makeup and they're good with that, and that's fine. I'm not ever. I would never say that a woman has to wear makeup. I just wear it because it helps perk me up. It helps me feel put together. Um, but that's me. Um, you do what helps you feel put together. If that means dressing up, including putting on makeup, absolutely. If that simply means uh, pulling your hair back and throwing on a nice top and decent blue jeans, that's fine too. You know, whatever works for you. Because, like I said, not every woman wears makeup. My daughter, though, she wears makeup. It's rare. Um, Usually she only wears makeup for like super special occasions. Quite honestly, she's so beautiful. She doesn't need to wear makeup at all because she's gorgeous. Um, but she doesn't, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but for me, what perks me up is, like when I'm going to work, what helps me feel better about myself is putting something on other than just an old sweatshirt. Because at work, I work at a call center, so we really don't have, we have a relaxed dress code. No graphic tees that say anything offensive, or um, anything like that, or jeans that have holes in them, stuff like that. But generally, we can wear almost anything. And, but what helps me is when I dress up a little bit more than just throwing on a shirt and jeans, where I do something with my hair, even if it's just a French braid, and put on a little makeup. And by a little, I mean a little. Yeah, I mean, it literally takes me not even 5 minutes to put on my makeup. But I digress. I'm sorry. I told y'all, my brain is just not there. Um, I'm getting a lot of squirrel moments. Um, but I'm doing the little things for self care. Like, I took advantage of a really nice bundle sale on a bunch of makeup, and I needed new makeup because I was just about out. So I took advantage of that. It wasn't that much money, and I had the money to spare. So I did it. I am learning to do the little things. Something so little as just buying a small makeup bundle was that was nice. Um, Something as simple as getting up a tad early and doing something extra with my hair. other than just pulling it back in a messy bun or a ponytail. That's nice. Going for my drives. Um, with gas prices the way they are now, I won't be going on as many drives as I used to. Um, but I'm still gonna figure out a way to do at least a drive on Saturday because I need to. That's my mental health, even if it's a drive around town so I don't use as much gas. Um, that's self care. For me, there's not much like putting on my worship music on my music app and just singing to my heart's content, grateful that nobody can hear me when I'm in my car alone, and just belting it out to the Lord and getting my head straight, processing things. That's self-care, and you need to do that. Find out what helps you and then do it. I think part of why I like so much to where I'm able to go driving, part of it's one of the few good memories I had with my father, because when we would be bored and just need to get out of the house, he and I would go for a drive, and we would just go driving around. Our thing was we would drive around like a huge lake that encompassed like 4 counties where I lived, and so we would drive around that huge lake, um, and the cities in that lake. I mean, that surrounded that lake, and that was very, very cathartic for us. That we got out of the house, we got to look around, and that was wonderful. And so I think that's part of why I like the drives still to this day, because that was kind of therapeutic. And also I think it's because it feels good to be able to do that, because my ex, he only wanted to do it when he was not one to like driving around aimlessly. He always liked to have a plan. He wanted to go to a specific spot. And I get that, but he never wanted to go when I wanted to go. It was always when he wanted to go. And if I wanted to go, and if I would even suggest that I just, okay, well, look, I'm going to go for a drive on my own, oh my goodness, you'd swear I just told him that I was going to stab him or something, because he would like totally flip out. You want to do something without me? Yeah. You want to separate? You want to be apart? Oh yeah, that's totally going to save our marriage. Well, what could have helped is him saying, oh yeah, when I say, why don't we go for a drive to this park that I like to go to now? And even if he didn't want to, say, okay, yeah, sure. Instead of coming up with 50 million different reasons not to. But yet, when he wanted to do something, even if I didn't want to, even on days that I would have rather stay home and not do anything because the week was busy. I would do it anyway just because he wanted to do it. So I think that's why a big part of why driving around, just getting in my van and driving is so therapeutic because I can. Um, because I can do it. And I have the freedom to do it. It's like helping to remind me that I am free. Especially right now with March 10th coming up, the day that everything went down. Y'all, it's hard to believe that it's been almost 2 years already. I mean, that's amazing. And so it's a good reminder of how free I really am. Because if I want to go drive to the next county over, go drive in the country, I could go do that by myself, drive through the country, and look at whatever I want to look at, and come back without any issues. And it's very therapeutic. But something might be different for you. Find out what works for you. These are just some things that have worked for me, and some may work for you. And if they don't, that's fine. Everybody's different. But things like going for a drive or buying a new top or, a new clothing item, that's another thing that's therapeutic for me. And no, and yes, retail therapy is nice, but I'm not talking about $200 and $300 worth. Just one or two items that I may not absolutely positively need, but I could use them. Going to my favorite place and taking advantage of their sales, because they usually always have the clearance rack up. In the clearance rack, I can get stuff as cheap as $10. So I can get 3 things for the price of one. Just something as simple as that. Or taking advantage of a really good sale on a makeup bundle. I have a favorite coffee shop that I go to every Friday morning after therapy. That's very therapeutic for me. This drive-through coffee shop knows me well. They know my voice over the speaker when I order. That when you say your order and the order taker goes, "Hi, Penny," kind of a clue. But, that's my kind of reward for getting through therapy. And that's kind of like the thing I look forward to between therapy and going to work. Because I get out of therapy roughly 9 o'clock. I don't have to be to work until 10. So I have a little time to go through, grab a breakfast sandwich, and grab a coffee, a nice latte. I discovered they have sugar-free lattes now, so I get one of those because I am trying to eat decently, and get one of those, and just kind of get my mindset for the day. It's little things. Just something as simple as going to your favorite coffee shop, grabbing a cup of coffee. That is therapeutic in and of itself. I've done that when I couldn't do anything else. I do that. And with this coffee shop, you you spend so many dollars and you get a free drink. And I won't use that free drink immediately. I'll save it for when I'm kind of tight on funds, but I could really use my favorite latte. I'll toggle it over onto the app and get a free drink. So little things like that have such a huge impact. Just going to my favorite park and pulling up in one of the couple of spots that I go to all the time in this park. Put my van in park and just stare off and look at the scenery, the beautiful prairie, and all of that, and just stare off. And that's therapeutic. And as soon as I can get the money together, I'm going to start getting into what I used to do. Because I used to do macrame. My daughter's been begging me to get back into macrame because she said that I did really well. Quite honestly, I don't remember doing macrame while my kids have been alive. But my daughter remembers. So obviously I did, because I have blank spots throughout my life. And so I'm going to get into that and try to get into that again, because I think that would also be therapeutic for me. Concentrating on the different knots and stuff with macrame. So help yourself heal. Give yourself time to heal. If you need a day to rest, absolutely take it. That's part of why I'm running out of day PTO hours, because when I've needed those days where I needed a rest, I took them. Obviously, I'm not saying get yourself fired, not by no means, but if you need a day where you have to recoup and regroup, take it, because healing is very exhausting and you need that rest just to continue and get on with the rest of your life, the next day and the next day. Because if you take just one day of rest, you have the next day, you feel better. I know I always do. If I take a day, it was like, no, I'm not doing anything today. This is going to be a day where I stay in my night clothes all day. I mean, for me, night clothes is lounge pants and an old t-shirt. I don't have actual pajamas, but that's what I like sleeping in. And, where I take the whole day and I go nowhere, that feels good. And I actually like those days when I can do that, where I don't have to get dressed, I don't have to go anywhere. I can stay home and veg out, or I could even clean, because sometimes cleaning is therapeutic for me. Sometimes. But I'm going to end this video because it's just about 50 minutes. Y'all have a wonderful week. Stay safe. And I would love to hear any feedback that y'all have. And as always, please share these videos in order to maybe help even one more person. And if you're new to me on YouTube or Rumble, please subscribe. I try to do videos every week. Subscribe and like and share so we can get the word out. Y'all have a good week. Stay safe. Bye.